Hey guys, quick review of my new pedals, VRS pedals, perfectly fine, amazing pedals. Noted some questions around that I had myself in the beginning, and I tried to answer them. So let's check my notes. So basically, you can see the throttle and the brake pedal. I did not order the clutch pedal. Don't really need them. So first impression, absolutely awesome, super rigid, super solid, almost massive ones. Almost like perfect. And looks good as well. I have this SimLab Evo, the GT1 Evo. Works fine for me. I did not have to drill any new holes. Everything was there already, so perfect. The pattern worked for me, especially because I have a proper distance between throttle and the brake pedal, which was not really possible with the Sprints because you have a very short cable and you have to connect the throttle and so basically all the pedals to the kind of main unit, the brake pedal. So that's not the case here because you have this Direct Force Pro kind of controller in the middle with the RJ45 connection, and this is super solid. This is about 30 centimeters each cable, so enough distance. That's fine for me because then I can have this kind of Formula One distance between the brake and the throttle, which I was looking for. It's great. First thing I noticed is that if you try to, fix the pedals right away, did not really work for me because this screw here for the angle of the pedals were completely at the bottom, and so it wasn't possible to use this hole at the very front, which I had to because the pattern is like that. So yeah, I had to use the one at the very front here. So I have to change the angle a little bit to almost a half, which is not a big problem because you can adjust the base plate from the rig to adjust the angle a little. So that wasn't the case, but I noticed it. Not a big deal. That was the first change I made, the first adjustment I made. So I adjusted the base plate as well from the rig, so all good now. I tried the brake pedal right away. You plug them into the controller, USB into the PC, all done. No software necessary. Show you later on in the video how I configured them, if there is anything to configure, to be honest. And I really liked them from the very beginning. What I noticed is, okay, the blue spring is maybe not strong enough for me, so I tried to change to the red one, and I was asking myself how. I was very curious about that, and I tried to find help because there's actually no manual, no electronic one, no hard copy, nothing in the box or anything, not available on the website as well. So I asked around, and some guys showed me how to do it. So I will show you. There's a clip. You have to lift it up. Takes a little effort. Lift it up. Put it a little bit up, and then you can literally. There's a kind of a shaft. You can pull it out, so you can live. That's not going to work. So you have this in your hand. Not a big deal. And then you can lift this up, and you can, if you like, you can pull it out and put in your spring in. I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess anything up, but that's not a big deal. And the other way around, and I noticed, okay, there's a slightly offset here from the hole, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to push it back in. And I found out that if you hold it like this and squeeze it a little bit to the back, it's easier to find the right set. So notice that if you have to keep it with the one hand in this direction and the other one you pull the spring back, and then you can put it back in, clip the spring back in. All good. It's changed. It's not that difficult. You just have to try it out a little bit. Yeah, so that's basically it. I assume that, for example, this one here, what I did is I adjusted maybe I have to turn around the camera a little bit. I adjusted the small pads here. They were too far in the back. I like them in the very front. And the angle a little bit is to the absolute maximum, which I like better. Same for the throttle, which is good. I noticed that the screws in general are, I would say, in a better quality, especially if you use the Allen keys. They fit better, and there's no feeling like if you pull it too hard, somehow you have to tighten it or you loosen it up, and you use a lot of pressure and a lot of strength, you mess up the screws. And this is absolutely not the case here. So they feel super rigid, super solid. There's no fear, I guess, to mess it up. Overall, and basically these look and feel very massive. There's no play at all. You can use a lot of strength here. It's absolutely amazing, and they look bigger, huge, to be honest. Really cool. Really love them. These orange ones, I have to improvise a little bit with the camera here. These orange ones are kind of limiting the like a bumper, the travel. Can't show that on the brake pedal, but you can, I guess, assume for the throttle it's a little bit easier. Hopefully you see that. I just take the camera right now. You can see that it's limiting the travel, so you can adjust them here, I would say. Didn't do that because it's fine for me, but I guess you can put it a little bit more to the front, have a smaller travel, but it's perfectly fine. As I said, the standard configuration of the pedals were out of the box super nice. We can adjust the height as well. I guess easy to adjust. Just Allen key here, Allen key there, done. To be honest, I'm not quite sure about the spring here, but I would assume you can adjust some bits and pieces here as well. Not sure about the impact, but yeah, to try it out. Would assume a little bit maybe kind of a preload or so, but as I said, it's perfectly fine for me. Yeah, some adjustments are possible here, but I'm not sure what it is doing here. No idea. But hey, somebody will find it out. What I noticed is that as I said, this is the controller, and this was my light going down. Absolutely amazing. There we go. There's a third one, maybe for a shifter or anything. Don't know why. Don't worry. There normally an Ethernet cables. There's a light going on. There's no light here, but it's definitely working. And as you can see, the cables are super long, so you can have a greater distance here between the pedals as well. But not for me. But if you like, you can use the patterns here if you like. The Sprints had the kind of mini motherboard, mini controller here and the brake pedal. That's not the case here, which is good because that was looked a little bit weak and vulnerable because it was completely exposed. This one is kind of in that one here, that the controller's in front of the pedal, so covered by a kind of a aluminum or anything, kind of metal, super solid, absolutely protected, which is great. So that's definitely an improvement, I would say, because I heard a couple of people had problems with the little main board of the Sprints, maybe got damaged by something. That is definitely more difficult to do here. and pretty happy about that. Put the camera back on. As I said, very unprofessional review here. Do my best to show you guys. Hopefully the camera is doing fine now. Show everything it should show. Let me check. Camera's back on. Let's start iRacing very quickly. Swap to iRacing if it's loaded. As I said, the distance is it's nice for me to travel now. If you see, that's the travel. And if I pull as hard as I can, that's basically it. I guess there's still some room for travel. Not the strongest guy on earth, but yeah, it's perfectly fine. So the sprints were sometimes shows me sometimes 90 kilos, and so 64 I guess is the maximum. So around the 90 kilo mark, that would be the best for me. Not quite sure about how much pressure I can put on here because there's no software. Nothing is visible for you, but that's actually a very nice feeling, and you don't have this squeaking kind of rubber thing from the sprints. I had this sometimes because I used a combination of the hard plastic ones and the rubber ones. And this is absolutely not the case. These are absolutely silent. There's absolutely nothing. It's just the end of the travel, the bumper thing. But in terms of the braking, there's nothing. Super smooth, not spongy at all, no squeaking. I really like that. So let's try the. Oh, that's actually working, but where is the iRacing? I'm so professional. Yeah. Whoop. Let's put this back up here. Let's turn this off, this off. Let's go here. So you can see currently, even if I push the pedal, the throttle a little bit, there is no impact. Now there's a little impact because sometimes I have my legs literally touching the pedals a little bit, but I don't want to have any input to the brake and the throttle pedal because sometimes you're lazy, and especially on the track, sometimes maybe you brake but you don't even want to brake. So let's check the configuration file and show you how I did the stuff. Where is it? Pedals. So basically you start from, if you reset that, that's actually what you get when you connect the pedals the first time. And I was a little bit confused about that, but you max them out if you like to. I never really use super high forces on this configuration menu because sometimes you see in iRacing that you have to literally stamp or jump on the throttle to get the max out. So very comfortable 100% for me. There is a little bit more, but I don't want to use that. And especially on the dead zone now, if I completely remove the pressure. But to apply a little bit dead zone, I go up to 30%. So 7% is the dead zone for me. And that's where I'm comfortable with. And then hold it, and then just press the done button. Release it. Now it's showing, okay, you applied some throttle kind of input, but you don't want to do that. You want to have the brake pedal, so reset that stuff. And the same issue here. So just touch it a little bit, and then you see the input. And now you have to adjust it a little bit. So I only always use about, in this case, 90%. You can do more, but as I said, I don't want to max them out every time. And same here, I like touch a little bit up to 10-11% was comfortable for me. So hold it, done, and that's basically it. Go to iRacing. You see no input now, no input now, no input now, and now I have the first input. So a little bit travel, maybe some millimeters, maybe half a centimeter or something. Same for the brake. Even if I brake a little bit, you see now there's a first brake impact, which I'm absolutely comfortable with. And you can see that's the brake maximum. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me check my notes if I have still something. You have to be careful with. Let me jump back to the other view. I have to use the camera again. On the Sprint pedals, you have some pre-drilled holes for the height adjustment here, and this one is completely free choice. This has advantages in terms of your adjustability, but has some disadvantages because you have to align this one and the other side absolutely the same. Otherwise, you have this side and this side kindly slightly offset, and then you have a toggling brake or throttle pedal. So you have to align them that they are lying flat on the plate here, on the base plate. I noticed that because I did it wrong, and I was wondering because it was a little bit toggling and moving, and it was not 100% flat on the plate here. So you have to find kind of the sweet spot, put it on the table, put it on that one, and then adjust a little bit, because then immediately you notice that okay, something is wrong or something is correct. Then as well on the I noticed that there's an EMI filter. I would assume this is an EMI filter on the USB cable, which is great. Had some issues with previous USB cables. Yeah, that's basically it. So show you maybe the Windows configuration tool, but there's nothing really to show because there's nothing. There we go. It's basically just the pedals and the regular menu you have. There's nothing else. Yeah, coming to an end. I added some pictures, comparison pictures between the brake pedal of the Sprint and the VRS pedals. See the difference, and you can see in the first picture as well the different patterns of the the feet of the pedal. It's using the first three rows, and the VRS are much bigger, much wider, so you have to use actually the first and the last row of the base plate. So I guess it's a better angle as well to keep the high forces somehow under control. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, very unprofessional, but hopefully it's at least slightly helpful for you guys to see how they are, and maybe you decide to buy them. Yeah, enjoy. See you later.